So let's use Beeceptor and see how we can use it to simulate REST API. So first head to this URL, https://beeceptor.com. So this is Beeceptor's homepage. You see here a short description of what Beeceptor does and a large text box. In this text box, you are going to choose the domain that you are going to use to simulate the REST API. It can be any name you would like, so just pick a name and write it here. I'll use here API course and create endpoint. Now you see this page. In this page, what you see is the full URL of the server of the domain your API will be reside in. Copy this URL, we will use it later in this course. And now, what we would like to do now is create a test API to make sure everything is working fine. Now, REST API mocking in Beeceptor is defined using the mocking rules. You can see it up here. So let's click mocking rules and create new rule. And this is where things get really interesting. So what we do in this page is defining what is the REST API that we want to mock, including its address, its verb, its headers, its response, and their body. So let's define a REST API endpoint and see what happens. So first we are going to choose the method. If you click this and open the list, then you can see here all the HTTP verbs we talked about, including some more that we didn't talk about, and we will go with get. Here we are going to write the URL of the REST API, so let's call it API/test. In this text box, we pick the status code we want the API to return. In this case, we will leave it as it is, 200, meaning OK. And here is the response body, or the contents of the response. So in this text box, we will define what will be the response we will get from Beeceptor when calling the API. So let's just change this to success, so that our test is success, and click Save Rule. So this is our first REST API mocking, and let's see if it works. Let's open another instance of the browser and paste here the URL we picked before. Notice the domain name here. This is a domain name that we selected at the beginning when creating our account in Beeceptor. And then we'll just write what is written here, the URL of our API. So this would be API/test, enter, and you see here the body that we defined. So it looks that everything is working just fine. We are going to use Beeceptor across this course, and you will find out it's very easy to use and very useful for learning REST API.